Good morning, everyone, on a special Saturday edition of the Bet Out of That show. We're doing this on Saturday today rather than Sunday because of what, Patrick?
Because I have a car meet. It's like a cars and coffee for those who have a passion for collectible cars, exotic cars, or any other special interest cars. And you get to see all kinds of stuff from Chevys to Ferraris, Lambos, to Corvettes, and many other, as I said, special interest cars.
Yeah, so Patrick's going to be there tomorrow. So rather than do the Bet Out of That show Sunday mornings like we typically do, we're doing it Saturday. Today we will be talking Rivian and providing some commentary from some experts on what you should do with that new IPO. And then we're going to go all in on the metaverse. And there's some easy plays to make money in the metaverse, Patrick, I believe. So let me start the
Mhm.
show and we'll get into it, okay?
Yes.
All right, Patrick Doherty, let's do it. Let's do it. So let's talk about Rivian, Patrick. Um,
Okay.
Rivian, what is Rivian for people who do not know this company that just IPO'd on Wednesday, I believe? And maybe you can tell us what an IPO is and a little bit about Rivian.
Okay, so Rivian is part of the electrical vehicle space. It's one of the newest entrants. And an IPO is an occurrence where a previously privately held corporation or entity um, offers its shares for the first time to the public market. And it is brought on by a consortium of investment banks like your Goldman Sachs's, your Bank of America, and so on. And they will sell these shares to the public. And often, more often than not, these shares go up during the initial days after the IPO, only to see it settle down some, and then the earnings and profits will drive the stock in the future.
Yeah, and Rivian was the big excitement for the market this week. Everyone was talking about the Rivian IPO and buying in. And initially, I think they were estimating that the stock would come in at around $60 per share. But ultimately, the stock entered the stock market at 100 or so a share, and they're trading right around 122.
Yes.
So, so those who may buy into the hype of Rivian, I am not a big believer in Rivian right now. I think it's overpriced. And like you just said in the intro, Patrick, it's typically a bad idea to buy into the hype. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Um, the the company has to prove itself.
Yeah.
In the end, earnings and profits and cash flow, particularly cash flow and financial position, drive the stock and demand for its products and services. If those falter, if they don't meet expectations, then the stock price is not going to hold up very well.
So let me show you a little bit of some of the experts I follow said about Rivian. If you don't believe me, just listen to these guys, and obviously they were edited by yours truly. But I share these same sentiments. So let's go into what Brian Kelly had to say about Rivian.
with a huge follow-through today after yesterday's 29% debut day rally. The EV maker now has a larger market cap than both Ford and GM. BK, what'd you make of this? Is Rivian a stock you put in your top drawer?
No, not at this valuation. I mean, you're pricing in an awful lot of truck sales in this thing. Have at it, go for it, as Dan would say. It can go higher. This is a very frothy market. But for me, I'm not going to be a buyer of Rivian here. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm missing something.
I share those sentiments. And when they say it's too pricey, they're talking about the PE ratio, the multiple that we keep talking about, Patrick.
Exactly. And I can't even find what the PE ratio is.
Well, there's no
I mean,
there's no PE ratio. It's not earning anything yet. So it's like price to sales. It hasn't
so,
proven itself yet. That's the point.
so how can you measure risk adequately?
Well, I guess it would be you would have to forecast how much this. It's just crazy. Let me go
It's
into
speculative. It's too
very,
speculative.
very, and people get burnt this way. It's better
Absolutely.
to let the stock settle and then ensure that it's proven before you get in. Let me share what Tim Seymour had to say.
Okay.
Tim, does this second day move make you feel any, more inclined to be interested in Rivian stock?
It certainly made Elon Musk inclined to tweet about Rivian and say that they're not even close to profitability, and that Tesla's the only company in the last 100 years in America that's had this kind of level of production and profitability. But anyway, I think you have a case here where the valuation makes zero sense. It's very impressive, both the reviews that the trucks are getting, obviously the deep-pocketed but very strategic investors, and the fact that this is a car that, to me, a truck that will be part of fleet and mobility and transportation as a service, and may be very different than some of the other competitors. What it has done is it's finally lit a fire under GM, and it has lit a fire under Ford. It's been interesting, as Rivian's valuation has gone up, Ford's has gone down, and you wonder, did they over-impute that value from their stake in Rivian too fast onto Ford? Ford had a massive move. It's been interesting. It's actually been down the last couple of days. Meanwhile, GM's been on fire and looks to be breaking out.
All right, Patrick, you heard that. And,
Yes.
And Tim Seymour is talking about a company that we're very excited about, and that's the Ford Motor Company. Now, the reason
Yes.
why I wanted to share that clip in particular, there was a couple of things there. One, Tim was saying that Rivian coming on the market as an electronic vehicle play or EV play is biting into Ford. And what I say is, I'm not so sure I agree with that. I think the Ford Motor Company is priced very cheaply. Plus, Patrick, who owns 12% of Rivian and is going to make money off of Rivian, Patrick?
It's Ford Motor Company, ticker symbol F on the New York Stock Exchange.
What do you think of what Tim Seymour just said about Rivian and it's biting into Ford, and that's why Ford has been down for the last 3 days or so?
Well, here's what I think about Rivian's excitement. I think it's stealing the show from the general market, period. It's not just Ford that may have come down a bit, but a lot of other shares have come down because of this excitement of Rivian. So Rivian is almost cannibalistic in the market. However, once things start to settle down, I think, again, it's going to come down to fundamentals.
Yep, I agree. Let me just piggyback on the Ford thing, because that kind of tweaked me a little bit when I don't always agree with these experts, but I certainly try to share their sentiments when I agree with what they say. But let me show you something on the Ford Motor Company here for one. Okay, here's the Ford Motor Company. Now, this is on Morningstar. You can go to morningstar.com, and it's very simple. You click on valuation on any company, and you can get the multiple, the PE ratio on a particular company, and you can see if a company is trading cheaply or expensively compared to its past. So looking at Ford here, here's the rating as of, I got this up here. Here's the rating as of November the 12th. And then you can look at Ford's past. And here's the price to earnings, this valuation, what all of these TV types are talking about, and pundits and experts. You can look what Ford traded at in the past, and then you can look at its 5-year current trailing 12-month average, and Ford is trading at 27 times, where over a 5-year period it was typically 35. So Ford is actually trading a little cheaper on a PE basis. But let me show you something else, Patrick, that you and I enjoy a lot more. And that is, hold on for a second. Let me show you something here. If I can get this over. Yep. So look at the PEG ratio here. The PEG is an indicator, very good indicator on how cheap a company is trading. So if you look at the PEG ratio here on Ford and you go over to current, it's only 0.17. Guys, 1 is typically cheap. Half is typically dirt cheap. You can see that Ford typically, like in 2020, was 0.4 and 0.6. It's only 0.17 right now. Extremely cheap. You know, the Ford Motor Company is a buy. It's still a buy, even though it's run up so much. But go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, it's run from like $4.24 last year to about almost what, 18, 19 bucks. And still, these are real low metrics. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
Yeah, buy the Ford Motor Company. If you don't believe what we're talking about, or you still need more convincing, go look at a video from a couple of weeks ago, and then look at a video from September the 12th, I believe, when we initially talked about the Ford Motor Company when it was trading around $12 a share. And we're still bullish on it. So Ford is invested in Rivian, going to make money off of Rivian. Rivian is not going to cut into the F-150 Lightning. That's just insane right now for the Ford Motor Company. And also, you know, Ford has the Mark E, which is their new electric vehicle play. So I'm just saying, I think Ford is still a really good buy, and I just wanted to hammer that down. Rivian, wait for it to pull back. They always do, right, Patrick?
Exactly.
They being IPOs. So, Patrick, with that said, and we talked about Rivian a bit, let's go into how to make money in the metaverse. And I'm in the metaverse. I have options out in the metaverse. I have stock plays in the metaverse. Let's talk about that in particular. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So let me play a video on, and I thought this guy, this analyst, Andrew Urquhart, I thought he did a good job of describing what is the metaverse in a high level. I know you're going to go into more detail on what the metaverse is, but let's describe to our audience. Let's play. What is the metaverse? Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to know who has a real opportunity in this fake world, and what the heck is the metaverse anyway? Let's bring in Jefferies equity analyst Andrew Urquhart to break it all down for us. Andrew, great to have you with us. A lot of people might think that they know what the metaverse is, that it's something like a Decentraland, and that's what these companies are talking about. You actually say that the metaverse isn't something that we have right now. What is it going to be?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a long-term definition, which everybody likes to use Ready Player One, right? Which is a mirrored version of the physical world in a virtual world somewhere where you can be whatever you want to be, go wherever you want to be, go wherever you want to go. That's probably decades away, but that's okay. In the meantime, the technology that's going to take to build that opens up all sorts of new and exciting opportunities. And so while we don't think the utopian version or dystopian version of metaverse is coming, there is still ample opportunity for public and private companies alike to take advantage of the technology.
So that's a high level of the metaverse. Any comments on that, Patrick?
Yes. Well, first of all, I think that the metaverse technology is here. There are a couple of companies, Nvidia in particular, has its own version of the metaverse.
All right,
That's
hold that thought, because I know you're gonna go into. Let me play this video I saw. This Erkwitz guy talking about opportunities in the metaverse. I know you're about to go in, Patrick. Check this out.
We know that a lot of companies are figuring out some sort of metaverse strategy at this point, like we heard Disney CEO Bob Chapek talking about, Andrew. But at this point, do we know that there is the traffic in the metaverse to be worthwhile for these companies at this point, or how do you think about the projections of that?
Oh yeah, totally. We already have metaverse-like things. You have virtual concerts in Fortnite. You have virtual concerts in Roblox. Vans, the skateboard and shoe company, built their own experience in Roblox last month. 40 million people visited it. And so there are things happening that the early adopters are already kind of playing in a world that is metaverse-like for sure.
Yeah, Patrick. So they mentioned a company, Roblox. That's a company we have been following for a few months. That is a metaverse play I was in maybe 4 months ago. Probably going to get back in. So, but let me play another clip here on the metaverse, please. Hold on for a second. Let me play what Brian Kelly had to say about the metaverse.
Yeah, BK, where do you stand on the metaverse at this point?
Well, I think the metaverse is going to be absolutely huge. I think it's going to be as big a trading block as any of the countries that we're talking about now, the EU or the US or anything like that, because it encompasses the whole globe. But that's 20 years down the line. In the meantime, I do think you can buy stuff like Nvidia and those type of things, kind of the picks and shovels of it. But I do also think the cryptocurrency world, when you look at some of those, you look at like an Axie Infinity, even just buying Ethereum, I think will get you some exposure to the growth of the metaverse.
I like that, Patrick. People don't think about the crypto factor, and he mentioned one in particular that resonated with me, Ethereum. That name keeps coming up, as well as our fave that we've been talking about for about 8 months, Nvidia. So I know you're going to talk about Nvidia in a little bit. I want to share also what Dan Nathan had to say about the metaverse. So let me share that.
How or bad, Dan Nathan? Where do you think the opportunity is right now?
Yeah, I think near term it is in these walled gardens. If you think about Zuckerberg told us he's going to spend $10 billion, right, to create some sort of universe, at least that his existing 2.5 billion users can participate and use their hardware to do it, and possibly use, to BK's question, their currency if they ever get their DM thing going here. So, obviously I think that's how it starts. I don't think that's how it finishes. I think that there is this vision that the walled garden version will be a dystopian sort of version, whereas the Web3 vision of it is going to be very decentralized.
All right. So the metaverse, Facebook putting 10 billion in. I'm in that trade, Patrick. We're going to go in. You're going to go in more details. Before you go into more detail, let me play one more video about the metaverse. They mentioned 2 companies that we're already in. They mentioned Nvidia. They mentioned Roblox, which a play that I've already done. And let's talk about another, and Facebook, a trade I'm in right now for the metaverse. Let's talk about another company that I am about to get in this week on the metaverse. And we'll be playing a follow-up in the future on the money we made on these trades I plan to do, Patrick. But let's go with the next company. And I know you're going to feature this company when you go in.
My vision is to use Disney Plus as the platform for the metaverse. I think it really blends our physical beings with our digital beings and creates a three-dimensional canvas, if you will, for our creative storytellers to paint so that we can create experiences that otherwise have been defined as it's a park experience or it's a movie experience or it's a book experience. I think those all come together without boundaries, without borders, without constraints, and our creatives are just biting at the bit to get into the Disney metaverse.
And there you go, Patrick. So Disney, big metaverse play. And so, I mean, there you go. So Patrick, let's talk about the metaverse. Thanks for that shout out there, Miss Jams. Appreciate that. Let's go into the metaverse, Patrick. Just
Okay.
played all of those videos, talked about some of those trades we're in. Patrick, what is the metaverse?
Okay, so what I want to do is discuss what the metaverse is through this article that I found in Investopedia. So I'm going to share my screen.
All right, let's get ready for you to share your screen.
All right, so this is an article, again, Investopedia, a really good source for investment information and business information. The metaverse. What is the metaverse? The metaverse is a digital reality that combines aspects of social media, online gaming, augmented reality, virtual reality, and cryptocurrencies to allow users to interact virtually. Augmented reality overlays visual elements, sound, and other sensory input onto real-world settings to enhance the user experience. In contrast, virtual reality is entirely virtual and enhances fictional realities. As the metaverse grows, it will create online spaces where user interactions are more multi-dimensional than current technology supports. Instead of just viewing digital content, users in the metaverse will be able to immerse themselves in a space where the digital and physical world converge. So, in short, that's essentially you can create like a virtual you in this particular metaverse. It could go into these spaces, like for example, Travis Scott, a very famous rapper and R&B singer, had an online concert where 20 million people attended. So this is like a virtual, well, more than just virtual. This is like a metaverse space that Travis Scott and his promoters created, and people who were involved in this metaverse or people part of this came in to see him perform. So the key takeaways from this article would be the metaverse is a shared virtual environment that people access via the internet. Technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality are combined in the metaverse to create a sense of virtual presence. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is heavily invested in this metaverse thing. In fact, he's renamed his company, at least the parent company from Facebook, to Metaverse or Meta. And he believes that the augmented reality glasses will eventually be as widespread as smartphones. Wow, that's
crazy. That's crazy.
That
In a good way.
That's quite the lofty goal.
Yeah,
But
not proven yet. But that's what we call investing. But continue, Patrick, please.
yes, in October 2021, Facebook announced plans to create 10,000 new high-skilled jobs in the European Union to help shape the metaverse. The word started appearing in the news when rumors began swirling in mid-October 2021 about Facebook rebranding, complete with the new name to embrace the company's commitment to the metaverse, hence the name Meta. Unnamed sources told journalist Casey Newton that an announcement deal could come soon, and it did. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg announced the new Meta name at the Facebook's Connect 2021 conference on October 28th, with its new website branding it as a social technology company. And he's saying, in the metaverse, you will be able to do almost anything you can imagine. Get together with friends and family, work, learn, play, shop, create, as well as that's sorry, give me 1 second here. I just got interrupted there, and I apologize to the audience.
No problem. I can call you back.
Okay. And then in the metaverse, you will be able to do almost anything you can imagine. So to create, as well as completely new experiences that don't really fit how we think about computers or phones today. In this future, you will be able to teleport instantly as a hologram to be at the office without a commute at a concert or with friends, like that concert with that featured Travis Scott. Or in your parents' living room to catch up, Mark Zuckerberg wrote in a Founder's Letter 2021, released October 28th. And you can watch the full Connect keynote and learn more about the metaverse, how the metaverse will unlock new opportunities at meta.com. You can also learn about our work over the past several months to develop the Meta brand on our design blog. Meta advertised on this site, and Mark Zuckerberg's letter advertises that Meta made a film that explores how you might use the metaverse one day. And sorry, give me 1 second, getting a bit of background interruption here. I apologize to our audience here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Understanding the metaverse. Facebook has been talking metaverse for a while, noting in an October 17, 2021 press release that the metaverse is a new phrase of interconnected virtual experiences using technologies like virtual and augmented reality. At its heart is the idea by creating a greater sense of virtual presence, interacting online can become much closer to the experience of interacting in person. Interest in the metaverse is expected to grow substantially as investors and companies want to be part of what could be the next big thing. The metaverse is going to be a big focus of Facebook's, and I think this is going to be a part of the next chapter for the way the internet evolves after mobile internet. Mark Zuckerberg told on his technology site. And he goes on to say he thinks that it's going to be the next big chapter for our company too, doubling down in this area. So that's essentially the metaverse in a nutshell.
Let me come off of mute there. See if I can get us back on. Hold on for a second, Patrick. I kind of took myself out of the screen for a second. Wow, that's pretty exciting. So Patrick, what else do you have on the metaverse Is that all you have on the metaverse, or do you have something related to the OmniVerse? What the heck is that?
Okay, so the OmniVerse is a very similar virtual world uh, or virtual reality that Nvidia has in its own ecosystem, and I'll get into it. So let me start sharing my screen.
All right, Patrick, I haven't seen the link come up, but this should be very interesting. Okay, you are now sharing your screen, my friend.
Okay, so here's what's on the Nvidia website. And this is an article by Richard Karras, who is a part of Nvidia. Nvidia OmniVerse Enterprise delivers the future of 3D designs and real-time collaboration. And on this site, it says for millions of professionals around the world, 3D workflows are essential. Everything they build comes from cars to products to buildings must be first designed or simulated in a virtual world. At the same time, more organizations are tackling complex designs while adjusting to a hybrid work environment. As a result, design teams need a solution that helps them improve remote collaboration while managing 3D production pipelines. And NVIDIA OmniVerse is the answer, according to this article. NVIDIA OmniVerse Enterprise, now available, not available 20 years from now or 10 years from now, but available now, helps professionals access industries, transform complex 3D design workflows. The groundbreaking platform lets global teams work across multiple software suites, collaborate in real time in a shared virtual space. And here this NVIDIA goes on to say, with OmniVerse Enterprise, professionals gain new capabilities to produce traditional visualization workflows. It is a newly launched subscription that brings fully supported software to 3D organizations of any scale. The foundation of the OmniVerse is Pixar's Universal Screen Description, an open source file that enables users to enhance their design process with real-time interoperability across various applications. So it's already based on a proven technology, this OmniVerse is. And additionally, the platform is built on NVIDIA's RTX technology, so creators can render faster through multiple iterations at no opportunity cost and quickly achieve their final designs with stunning photorealistic details. So these are things that NVIDIA has been working on for a long period of time, and then now they're transposing this technology and have in the past, layering on top of Pixar's own technology and incorporating NVIDIA's graphic technology into this virtual world. So this is big. And already, Ericsson, a leading telecommunications company, is using OmniVerse Enterprise to create a digital twin of the 5G radio network to simulate and visualize signal propagation and performance. Within OmniVerse, Ericsson has built a true-to-reality city-scale simulation environment, bringing in scenes, models, and data sets from S3 City Engine. And S3 is a company based out here in Southern California that does 3D maps. So they'll take like a standard atlas or a topographical globe, and then they'll use that, these data points within the topography of this globe and do weather scenarios, like if, to see how climate change might affect the globe, or how if you to drill oil in one um, part of the world, what would happen? A lot of weather scenarios concerning, um, you know, the um, the global landscape. So, a new experience for 3D design.
Can,
OmniVerse Enterprise.
can you
Yeah,
blow
go.
that up some more, Patrick? Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
It, the only way this is going to be able to be viewed at the resolution you have right now is on a desktop computer. It would be nice for
Yeah,
the resolution to be able to be viewed on a phone as well. So you might need to blow that up quite a bit.
okay. So let me go a little bit. Maybe I'll go a little bit better. That should be good. Okay. So, a new experience for 3D design. The OmniVerse Enterprise is available worldwide through global computer makers Box Technologies, Dell Technologies, HP, Lenovo, and Supermicro. Many companies have already experienced the advanced capabilities of the platform. And Epigraph, a leading provider for the companies such as Black& Decker, Yamaha, and Wafer, creates physically accurate 3D assets and product experience for e-commerce. Box Technology helped Epigraph achieve faster rendering with OmniVerse Enterprise and Nvidia's RTX technologies. The advanced RTX render in OmniVerse enables Epigraph to render images at a final frame quality faster while significantly reducing the amount of computational resources needed. And
Hey
then,
Patrick, before we go into the media mocks, I have a question in the chat.
yes,
It's a very simple question, and we often make assumptions that people know what Nvidia is. And the question is Nvidia semiconductors? What is Nvidia? And so we're making an assumption people understand it. So will you explain what Nvidia is?
okay, NVIDIA is a microprocessor producer that provides the graphics chips. That's the core of the business. In gaming, which has made itself really popular. But because these graphics cards, these chips are so advanced, they have many applications. So NVIDIA is also in artificial intelligence, data centering, EV vehicles, providing graphics in virtual worlds, um, such as the OmniVerse. It's going to be the backbone of the metaverse. That's as it becomes more developed. Autonomous machines, so machines that could operate pretty much that pretty much links with AI and other applications such as healthcare. So
Yeah,
NVIDIA,
Nvidia is a company. It's not a chip. It's a company
yes,
that create graphics chips,
right,
and that's what it is. It's a company.
and those are the applications I was just discussing.
Right. And so it's a company that Patrick and I are invested in. And if you go back and look at past show titles, you'll see us talking about Nvidia. Nvidia by this company, Nvidia, that produces these graphic cards that has these chips. So it's a leading company to produce graphics for the internet and all of that and computers and stuff. But let's continue, Patrick. So you into media monks as far as
So
Nvidia leading the OmniVerse, and it sounds like there are other companies involved with Nvidia and creating this competing OmniVerse with the Metaverse. So continue, please, sir.
Yes. So MediaMarks is exploring ways to enhance and extend their workflows in a virtual world with OmniVerse Enterprise with Hewlett Packard. Okay, and I'm just going to briefly go over some of these other participants. Dell Technology is presenting at the GTC to show how OmniVerse is advancing the hybrid workforce with Dell Precision Workstations, Dell EMC Power Edge Service, Dell Technology Validated Designs. And then Lenovo is showcasing how advanced technologies like OmniVerse are making remote collaboration seamless. So that's it. That's the OmniVerse in a nutshell. So the key takeaway, I think, from this article is that this is a world that currently exists. It's getting larger and larger. It's instead of just for entertainment, which the metaverse is right now, the OmniVerse is more for 3D rendering across commercial applications. But then as this grows, it may be complementary to the metaverse as it grows too.
Gotcha. Okay, Patrick. Good stuff. My screens are all screwed up, so I'm small screen now, my friend. This computer stuff is just going crazy. But I think that was most of what we wanted to share. I really wanted to share a trade that we can do next week, an investment that we could do next week for the metaverse, an investment I plan to do. I talked about it earlier. Do you remember what I said it was, Patrick?
Yes, I know you mentioned Disney.
Yes, the Disney company. Have you looked at the charts and looked at Disney and how much money you can make on Disney based on the bet on the metaverse? Now, your bet, which is a metaphor for investing, your bet on the metaverse would be that Disney is going to go up based on what the CEO, which we showed earlier, his vision can be executed. So before I go into that, we have a question. What is Nvidia's share value this week? What is Nvidia's share value this week? What is Nvidia this week?
It's
Patrick?
at $300, between $300 and $305 a share. Actually, let me go to the chart right
And
quick.
when we start talking about Nvidia, maybe before it split, it was down at $100 a share.
Yes.
That's right.
So right now, so the final close was $303.90. So practically,
What was Nvidia price when it split? The company Nvidia split like in July. You remember what? You have a good memory.
Yeah, it was about $800 pre-split. So that's essentially like $200.
It was $200 per share. My bad.
Yes.
Okay, so it split and right at 200 in July, and
Yes.
now it's at 300 already. So
Yes.
thank you, Patrick. When you're on YouTube and you have a record, you need to be accurate. People pull the tape on you. So, all right. So, Patrick, I wanted to show a trade. I really want to show how to make money on Disney. And
Okay.
I think Miss Jams had a previous question too before I get into that trade as well. And it was this, Patrick. It was, so with the metaverse, with virtual aspects of the metaverse, will it be encrypted? I would think so.
Yes. Yeah, as it further develops, because a lot of the purchases that you're going to be able to make are going to be through crypto as well.
Yeah.
You can use real dollars, in the case of Roblox, and convert them into Roblox Cash, or whatever they call it there on their sites. But you could also I think of ultimately you're going to be able to trade cryptocurrencies to other buy other cryptocurrencies or to buy things with cryptocurrencies.
And Patrick, Roblox, that Roblox currency, I have spent hundreds of dollars. My daughter's hit me in the pocket with that Roblox currency.
I can imagine.
That's real, dude. It's real. When you have a baby girl coming to you and want you to spend $10, $20 here on virtual outfits for their avatars and characters, and you have it, yeah, it's real. So let's get into the trade. How can we make money? What's the trade I'm going to put on next week to make money? It's something, Patrick, I want you to consider, okay?
Okay,
All
absolutely.
right, so let me see if I can take the screen here and let's look at the company that I'm looking at, and that is this company here. So let me see if I can take the screen, and here we go, Patrick. Have you up? I'm gonna X us out a bit. Maybe I'll pull myself back up here in a second, but it's this guy. I'm kind of betting on this guy. And we saw Bob talk earlier. Bob Chapek, he talked a little earlier. He is the CEO of Disney, and he's leading Disney into the metaverse. That's where he's going. And so what is the trade? And is it a good time to get into Disney right now? Well, so here we go. Let's see if I can get myself up on screen. I hate when I'm on talking this stuff and I'm not on screen. It's just a screen showing. But we have some issues. But look at this, Patrick. Do you see this? We
Yes.
talk about the Bollinger Bands quite a bit. You can look at Disney. It's trading at $159 a share. You can see this is a 3-month chart. Look
Yes.
at the Bollinger Band, the second deviation high, the middle, the 20-day moving average, and the second deviation low down here. And look how low Disney is below the second deviation low.
I see that.
That is very exciting, guys. This is how you make big money. Now, how do you make big money on this trade? What is Troy going to do? I'll tell you what Troy's going to do. Troy's going to first, before he buys a call option, he's going to come up here to the price overview and look and make sure that he can buy a call option. So what you do is you go down to option overview and you look at the IV rank. This is super important, guys, the IV rank. This tells you if a option contract is expensive or
Yes.
cheap. And what is considered expensive? Above 30. So if you're 30 or less, you're less than 30 on IV rank, this is a good indication to buy call options, okay? So because the IV rank is only 17%, and I'm saying only 17 like that's something, then this is a good opportunity to buy Disney here, where it is at the second deviation low of the Bollinger Band. So Troy, how far would you go out, and how would you, and I'm expecting to triple to 5 times my money on this trade. And I'm probably going to put up some good money, maybe 10 to 20 G's. So how do you do that? You look at the option price here. And what I plan to do, Patrick, and looking at the option expiration here, just to go into details of this trade, I would go out a year. I really want to give this trade an opportunity to work. So I'm going to go out to January 2023, maybe even January 2024. I really believe this is the safer bet, but it's going to cost a little more money, but I'm okay with that. But at least January 2023. So I'm debating which one I'm going to go with now. I would say, just for the audience to be safer, let's go out 2 years. Let's go out next year and the year following that. So the trade would be buying a call option at the money. And what does at the money mean? At the money, Disney is currently trading at $159 per share. So I want to buy a call option or many call options.
I see a strike price of 160.
Yep. So at the money would be 160. So you would buy this call option, and what expiration we're looking at here, Patrick? Can you see that?
Yeah, we're looking at a little more than 2 years from now.
Yep, a little more than
we're looking at
2024, right?
So
January.
we're looking at we're looking at January 19th, 2024.
So 160 at the money.
Yes.
You would look to buy a call option. You buy between the ask and the bid, but let's just use the ask.
I'll just use the final.
Let's use the midpoint. So here's the midpoint price. So the midpoint, let's make sure we got that here, come down to 160. And so $26.60, right? So to buy one contract of Disney to, this is going to be an easy play, to be in this deal will cost you $2,660 if you have that. And so that's what one contract would approximately cost. Now, why do I feel so bullish about this trade, Super? Why do I feel good about this? One, Disney is way down on the second deviation low. So that's our entry. That's our bullish thesis, number one, to get in the trade. Number two, Disney just missed on earnings and fell down hugely. Disney is a quintessential reopening play. So when the market reopens, when the economy, this COVID variant stuff blows over, which I expect it to do, and the theme parks, the online revenues, all of that stuff starts to pick back up, and the leadership of Bob Chappell with the metaverse, within 2 years, Disney should be way above 160. And as you know, when you buy call options, as the call option goes up dollarly, your money increases exponentially. So it makes much more sense to buy a call option and triple to 5 times your money. You may even 10 times your money if Bob really execute, Bob being the CEO of Disney, and the reopening play is really as big as reopening should be. With all of the new movies that's coming out with Disney as well, you really should be able to make a lot of money on that. So how do you get out of the trade? I would say going into it, you should already know where you want to be out. So you would say at 300%, I'm getting out of this trade. At 500%, I'm getting out of this trade, so that you do not be too greedy and stick around too long. Me, I think I'm going for 500%. I think I'm going to put up between 10 to 20, and I'm going to walk away. And has this been done by me before? More than a few times. So that's the trade, Patrick. What do you think?
I think that's pretty good. I know that the Delta variant is pretty much on its last legs. According to Scott Gottlieb, who was part of the FDA, he's like chief doctor, he says that the COVID should be ending, and then I think with a lot of pent-up demand, especially a lot of people being able to travel around the world again, Disney is going to be one of the major theme parks people are going to want to visit.
Yeah, and Patrick, I mean, when I say I'm going to put up 10 to 20, that means I'm going to buy more than one contract, right? That means I'm going to buy about 4 to 8 contracts. I'm going to buy those. If one were to put up $2,600 to get in the deal to buy one contract, then it would double, triple, that. But I feel very, very confident that this is a winning trade. And once I put that trade on next week, if Disney stayed down near the second deviation low, all I'm waiting for is Disney to find a bottom. It's just been falling. So once it gets that 1 day of support where it bounces a little, I'm buying me some option contracts. Depending on how I feel, I may buy 4, I may buy 10, depending. But I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident I'll double that money. Pretty confident. Matter of fact, I'm pretty confident I'm a triple or 5 times that money. So enough of that, Patrick. So that's all I have for today for the show. You have anything else before we wrap up, Patrick?
Yeah, just maybe just a brief mention of what Jim Cramer thinks should be the leading investments in
In the metaverse.
In the metaverse, exactly.
Let's go over that. What are the leading investments per a favor of ours, Jim Cramer? A lot of people do not like Jim Cramer, but we're fans of him. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, so what he likes are Facebook, Roblox, Nvidia, and Unity, which is a video game software development firm. Those are the 4 that he likes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I like those too. And we'll be talking about the metaverse even more. So, Patrick, can we wrap it up?
We can wrap this up.
All right. So, that is the Bet Out of Debt show for today. And hopefully you learned something today. If you liked the video, if you learned something, it's free to do, just like it, as well as share the content with those who can benefit from it. This was a special Saturday edition, so we will see you back next Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Pacific time. And until then, we call this show the Bet Out of Debt show because when you place a trade, it's called placing a bet. And hopefully it's a winning one to keep you out of debt. And as always, keep investing, and we will see you next time. Next time being next week. Goodbye.